Now you will see a lot of personal trainers doing pad work, after their workout, because it's a lot of fun to be hitting those mitts and moving around. But it's important that you understand that every single time you execute a motor movement, a motor pattern, and you're doing it without the correct technique, you're creating a habit. In effect, you're making yourself worse every single time you do it. So if you're going to do pad work, you might as well make sure that each punch is the correct form. A form that makes sure that you're as stable as possible when you throw the punch, that you're actually projecting the power from the ground through to the fist, to the actual target that you're hitting there, rather than just the arm. You don't injure yourself. All sorts of things can go wrong. And of course, you can get countered as well if you don't learn how to move with your feet. So in this video, I want to go through all of the punches, the main punches, 1 to 10, and make sure we get our technique right in terms of the throwing. And then maybe in another video, we'll do something which will work on the footwork. So I'll give you a lot of different footwork patterns and so on. I will chop it up. So you'll get lots of shots. You can work on each technique, do a whole round, 3 minutes, getting each punch correct. And then you can combine them to great combinations and so on. So just to remind you, I'm Coach JC, here to hit you with some hard-hitting truths about health and fitness. I really need you to like, share, and subscribe, so it will encourage me to provide you with more videos, more content like this. Anyway, the first punch we're going to be working on, of course, is the most important punch, and that is the jab. Now, the jab, if you are right-handed, you want to be using your left hand. If you are left-handed, you want to be using your right hand. The principle behind that is your power shot needs to be behind you. All right, that's your power shot. You can put more into it, but the problem is you can see it coming. So you want to use your left hand just to work on getting the range. You might dazzle somebody, they may focus on that jab and you catch them with the right. So the jab we're looking at. Now, of course, the stance needs to be right, but again, I'll do that on another video. What we want to do though is make sure that we are pushing off that back foot. So the back foot is here, and whenever we're projecting ourselves forward, you'll see this in sprinting, for instance, all 4 to 5 toes, particularly your big toe to your second to smallest toe, is in contact with the ground as you push forward. Okay, we're looking at that. So we've now got a chain of movement coming from down in the ground. So it's ground force moving its way upwards to the shoulder, to the jab. That's what we're looking at. Now notice how my hands are here to keep me self-guarded. Okay, I'm not dropping it down here. And I'm going to be pushing from the ground upwards. Now, as I push upwards, there's going to be a bit of torque on that back foot. I don't want to be on my toes, the tip of my toes, because that will not be stable, and I certainly don't want to take my back foot off the ground. So what I'm going to be doing is going from here and then pushing forwards. Notice there's a little bit of a corkscrew as well with the hand. From here, from to that way. Look at the rotation of my torso as well. So it's making more almost like a 20-degree turn. And this hand is not dropping. And that is your left jab. Now what's key here, and I see this a lot, my God, 80% of people I work with, that hand will come down to the torso on the way around. Bang. All right? And that tends to happen when you're tired as well. So if you are training and you have got the technique, get yourself into that zone where you're fatigued and see if you're still throwing that punch that way, okay? Now you want to be as relaxed as possible before throwing the punch. I just had somebody earlier, he was giving it all this. All right, so as relaxed as possible. Drop your arms where your torso is there. That's your standing position. And we want to just push off that back foot. Can you feel the force going upwards into the shoulder? And finally, of course, you want to make sure that you're breathing on each punch. You blow out on each punch. So that's number 1 for your left jab. Your number 2, which is your cross. So again, same principle. All right, so it's your right hand and it's just outside of a range punch this way. Again, you're sitting a little bit down on the punch. As you sit down, you're creating a force down in the ground, and that back foot again is pushing off. So, again, corkscrewing. And you don't want this punch. And I see people when they're doing bag work, they're too close to the bag and they're doing that. Or they're squaring up. Okay, long range punch you're looking at. So we've got the number 1. And we've got number 2. Again, try and get all 5 toes on the ground. That way. Number 3. Now, number 3, a little bit more technical. And I find that if I do a combination of 1, 2, and 3, which is the left hook, I can be a little bit off balance, and that's because my feet are very narrow. So we go with that stance here. There's a little bit of a gap in between the 2 feet. They're pointing at 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock. And then number 3 will require me to go down and hook in this manner. So I've got my elbow nice and high. Now, I find that it works better if I step out first. I'm stable, and I'll throw that hook. There, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Now, to do the hook, that front foot needs to be rotating as well. So the power's now coming off the front foot. And what you want to do is make sure you're not giving it away. Now, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you are fighting with somebody, the biggest giveaway is that haymaker. The haymaker is where I can see this part of your bicep and the punch. All right, so I'm doing that. You can see it, you're going to throw it, you just move out the way from it or duck underneath it, whatever you. So you want to disguise it. All right, so watch carefully. I'm loading by dropping the weight down and rotating, getting that habit. The head does not want to be looking down. Keep looking at your opponent. And notice that I'm not lifting my torso, my arm away from my torso, chicken winging. I'm not doing that. Hide. Then I throw the punch as so. Front foot is rotating. You want to combine it, you can go 1, 2, and down, 3. 1, 2, and down, 3. 1, 2, and down, 3. Okay, and that's the number 3. Now you might want to do a number 3 at longer range, because that one you have to move inside, get really close to the opponent, and then rotate, get the elbow up. If you want to do further range, long range one, watch carefully what's happening with my back foot. I'm going to stamp on that back foot, and it's moving across no more than 4 or 5 inches. Bam. Okay? Now, notice I'm also turning my chin a little bit to the side, so I've got my shoulder in the way. Bang. Now watch this. Bam. Bang. Bang. So I can go 1, 2, bang. Or 1 and 3. So it's 1, bang. 1, bang. Pushing off my back foot, stamping on the back foot. Go in the rock, close range one, bang, down, okay. So just remember on the number 3, it's about that front foot rotation as opposed to the back foot rotation. Number 4, pretty much the same principle, back foot rotation though. Again, we're looking at keeping my arm nice and tight. And as I throw that punch, I should have mentioned this really with the number 3 as well. You want to make sure you're blocking the pathway, that midline that's coming towards you. So as I throw that punch, I notice a lot of people throw the punch and this arm comes up here. That's what we want. And we want to do it in one swift movement, so we're not getting this. Same applies with the number 4. Look at this. This hand stays where it is, and I'm going to do an uppercut, not uppercut, sorry, a hook that way. Again, back foot's rotating, and the torso's rotating as well. We don't want to throw any punches where it's just the arm by itself. The whole of your torso locked into position, rotate, there we go. And that pathway is blocked. Again, be careful that you're not throwing the punch like this. Okay? And it's nice and high, bring the elbow high, so we're hitting that chin. Okay, so we've got number 3, and we've got number 4. Hopefully that's clear. Again, practice those in front of the mirror. In fact, you should be really practicing these now while you're doing it with me, and then you can reinforce those habits. Well, in terms of feedback for yourself, don't rely too much on your coach to tell you what you need to do, because some part of it you need to be checking. Am I stable? Am I off my center of mass when I throw the punch? And if not, then you just need to make that little adjustment with your feet so you get into that habit every single time. Again, that's not going to work for me, but that will. And I'm stable. Bit more open, a bit wider target, but it's worth it than to be sort of in that point where it only takes a little push and I'm on the canvas. Okay, let's go with number 5 and number 6. Now these are the uppercut punches, which for me personally, a little bit more accurate than the hooks. All right, because the hooks, they're great punches, they're very powerful, but the problem is chances of hitting some moving head that's doing all this all the time is harder. If the person comes on the inside and catching with the uppercut, then I can go with a hook. All right, so I can go from there, up, and then there. All right, Now again, the same principles is you're loading, so we're dropping the knees down, okay, and the body's going to coil backwards. So load, coil, and then bring the elbow up to protect that pathway. Again, you do not want to give it away by showing the bicep. You can see it's happening. Another one that gives you away is over pulling the arm back, so I can see over the back of you that you're about to throw it as well. What you want to do, drop the knees, and if you're doing mitt work, so you want to look up towards mitt and throw the punch. So we got one, bang. We got 1, 2, bang. Try and work on your stability. What is the best way to get the feet moving so I'm stable and it's optimum stability? I'm throwing that punch. Bam. Got that T shape here as I throw the punch. Again, you can go a little slightly longer range one. Get your head out of the way. You just drop your arm here. Okay, so it's a 90-degree drop, and you can throw the punch that way. Again, you can step out, throw the punch. Bah, bah, bah. There you go. So they've got the close one. That's number 5, or longer range uppercut there. Number 6, I would say it's the most powerful one. Again, if you are looking at techniques, try and look at the amateurs, not the pros. The pros like to show off, they showboat, and if you follow their habits, then you're going down the wrong path. Get the basics right, and then maybe you can showboat. So a pro might just do this, what we call a bowler punch. Well, what you want to be doing is the same again as we did earlier. Just tidy it up. Bring your arm across your torso so it's brushing. Not this, don't give it away. Drop, give me that T shape, uppercut. So you can learn to get inside with the jab, shift off, and uppercut. Bang, uppercut, changing the angle, look at that. Bang, uppercut, bang, uppercut. Again, we're looking to see what happens with this hand. Okay, the left hand, is it doing that? Okay, we want this. We can throw the punch. Look at my front foot. I can shift right in with it. Bah, poof, bah, poof. And there you go, you got your number 6. There are also principles in terms of your combinations, but again, that's another video. If you like, you subscribe, if you share, then I'll create more videos for you. All right, now we're going into the body punches. Now it's really weird because you'll see on most videos, they only go up to 1 and 6, and that's only for the head. But if you're gonna be a boxer, you've gotta go to the body. Because of course the person will always, your opponent will always have their guard up, and you want to try and get them to get the guard down. And they will drop their guard if you get them successfully in the torso or the solar plexus, all right? So we're going to go now for the body blows, which is number 7. Again, we're going with the lead hand, and it's going to go into the ribs. We call it the liver punch, and it's at 45-degree angle. There we go. All right, so rather than the uppercut, it's here into the ribs that way. Now, look very carefully at my torso and how it's rotating. A lot of people tend to not rotate it, it's moving that way. Okay, but what I'm going to do is have an axis, let's say like 45, 30-degree angle, and I'm rotating on that axis here as I throw the punch. So watch carefully from here. There we go. All right, here. And if you catch somebody in the ribs, bam, bam, at a 45-degree angle, it's a very successful punch. That person tends to drop their guard, and then you can go for the chin. So, bang, bang, with the uppercut, or bang, overhead right, if you want to. And there is the rib punch. One of my favorite punches anyway. I see Mike Tyson do that a lot. Bang, shift in, bang, 45-degree angle there. Same applies really with the right-hand side. So we're on the right-hand side, jab. Again, get yourself at a certain angle here and rotate on that axis. Bang. Again, protecting yourself with this hand. Not this. There we go. And again, disguise it a little bit, so we brush across the torso nice and tight. An acute angle with the elbow. Don't do that. Bang. 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 You can step out a little bit to make sure, that way, to make sure that you are stable on your punches. Again, check your own feedback. Are you off balance? I noticed that one was off balance. That one tends to be better. Okay, the last 2 really. And these are straights to the body. Now, if you're going to do a straight to the body, you want to make sure that you're in and you're out as quick as possible. You don't want to stay out there. So when I'm doing these classes with the individuals, they tend to just throw the straight and stay down there for a while, okay? And that's a beautiful position for the chin to be in, for you to be hit with the overhead right, bang, you're going down. You're already halfway down there anyway. So look at what I'm doing here now, okay? I stamp, again, we're pushing up the back foot to project ourselves forward. Accelerate with the back foot. Tell the brakes with the front foot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate my hand so the thumb is pumping downwards now, pointing right downwards. And the reason why I need to do that is because it will encourage my shoulder to cover my chin. And out. 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 Okay, so I'm now covered. It's very hard for you to be able to catch me if I've got a guard here and a guard here. If I do that, I'm in trouble. All right, so that's not good. This is good. All right, now let's get in there quickly and get out. Come out. And it's really good also to feint with that one, so it can look like you're about to throw a jab to the head. Once you've got them into the stomach a couple of times, then you can go to the head. All right, so that's the jab number 9 to the stomach. And then finally, of course, we got, which I think is the most dangerous punch. It keeps you very exposed. And that is your rear lead to the stomach. And that is there. Again, you want to get out and get off the center line as much as possible. So that center line that's there, okay, what you want to do is get that punch as quickly as you can. Step out, bam, and come out. Get rotating, so you're covering yourself with that ear. And it's quick and out, okay? So got in and I noticed Terence Crawford seems to be doing that punch a lot, and it's effective for him. But once you've got somebody in the torso, the arms will drop, then you can get them in the head, rather than keep head hunting all the time. So those are all the punches 1 to 10. I suggest that you take each snippet, okay, practice it for a round. Each round is 3 minutes, isn't it? So you can go for a round and just bam, check and see, did it feel right? Were my feet off the ground? Were I not balancing, or off balance? Did my arm drop? And once you drill it right, you've given it probably what, 100 of one? Don't even have to do that many. What will happen is the cognitive part of your brain will start having to do it now, and it'll become second nature. And then when you're in a fight or in a sparring situation, then your brain can focus on what it needs to hit rather than how it needs to hit. And that's ultimately what we want to do with any sort of motor skill. Anyway, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. Keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget, remember, like, share, and subscribe, or you won't get any more from me. See you then.